Hello everyone! Today we're going to start with a new chapter, chapter 7 about 2D shapes. The first paragraph of this chapter, paragraph 7.1, is about symmetry. First I'm going to explain you what symmetry is. Afterwards you're going to learn how to draw mirror images. And lastly, you're going to have a look at shapes with rotational symmetry. Alright, so first have a look at symmetry itself. So what is symmetry? Symmetry is if you have a picture and you can fold that picture such that one half fits exactly on the other half, then it's called symmetry. So have a look at this anchor. If you look at this and you're going to fold it exactly on the pink dotted line, then the two halves will fit perfectly on each other. So we call this pink dotted line the axis of symmetry. It's the folding line. If we fold the anchor, then the two halves are each other's mirror image. It's the same as if you have a mirror and you're going to put it on the folding line, then you will see the other half in the mirror. And that's why it's called the mirror image. Alright, I'm going to show you some examples. So if we have a look at this butterfly, the middle is the axis of symmetry. I can fold it and it perfectly fits on each other. You also have axis of symmetry in a star. I can fold it like this, but I can fold it like that as well, or like this, like that, or like this. So a star doesn't have one axis of symmetry, but I got multiple axes of symmetry. Alright, but how to draw a mirror image? So, the question could be, given triangle ABC and line Q, reflect triangle ABC in line Q. So that means if I'm going to put a mirror on line Q, then I must see over here this triangle as well. So how do I need to do this? Step 1, you will need your protected triangle and don't forget to draw with a pencil. You're going to put your protected triangle with a perpendicular line exactly on the given line, in this case this one. So it really needs to be perpendicular. Then I'm going to measure. So those are or two squares, you can measure like that, or it's 4 centimeters, 4.3. So I need to, it's 4. So you need to put it 4 down over there as well. So what you got is 2 squares over here. So you're going to count from the line. So over here you will put the other dot A. As you can see, we call this A with a little stripe on top of it. Alright, you need to do this with the B and C as well. So you're going to put your protected triangle over there. This is 1. And then you need to put down 1 over here. So there is B with a little stripe. Then you have C with 1, 2, 3, 4. And do that on that side as well. So you will get this. If you did this, you need to connect the dots. So you will get the triangle. So that is how to reflect a triangle in or over a line. Alright, so now it's really important to not forget the details, because you have drawn perpendicular lines. So that means that you must not forget the perpendicular sign. You also must not forget that this line is exactly the same length as that one. And this line has exactly the same length as that one. And that's for those two as well. And remember to draw for each line different symbols, because you really need to learn that this is 2 and this is only 1. So that's why you really need to draw different symbols. Alright, so if we're going to look at shapes with rotational symmetry. So shapes with rotational symmetry. Rotational symmetry is a picture that remains the same after rotating. So after I'm turning this picture, it will remain the same. You can see it like that. It will remain the same each time. Alright, so in order to let it be the same, we need a center of rotation. And that's the point around which you turn. So in this case, it's this. Because if I'm rotating it on that point, it will stay the same. Alright, but when will it stay the same? I can rotate this picture 3 times and then it will still stay the same. So we call this the smallest angle of rotation. So all the way around is 360 degrees. But in this case, I can only rotate it 3 times. So if it goes around in 3 steps, I need to divide 360 by 3 and I will get 120 degrees. So in this case, the smallest angle of rotation equals 120 degrees. And I will show you. So if you're going to have a look at that one, I'm going to turn it. And it still seems the same. I can return it again. And still the picture is the same. And lastly, I return it back at its normal place. And it just stays the same. So I can return it 3 times and each time I return it at 120 degrees. Alright, so now you're going to have a look at point symmetry. Point symmetry is the same as rotational symmetry, but it's with an angle of 180 degrees. So, for instance, the logo of NS. If you're going to rotate it, you can only rotate it with an angle of 180 degrees. So, really important, point symmetry does not have line symmetry. So what we saw with the star and with the butterfly, with the folding. But it does have a rotational symmetry with an angle of rotation of 180 degrees. So if you're going to have a look at that as well, I can only turn it around 180 degrees. Then it stays the same. I'm going to turn it around and it stays the same. I cannot rotate it like this with 90 degrees. That's not possible because then I have a completely different picture. So I can only rotate it 180 degrees. I cannot fold it because it's not a line symmetry, and that's why it's called point symmetry. Really important. Alright, so really have a look because it's very, very important. And do the exercises. If you've got any questions, ask it.